YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, I'm going over some of my most anticipated reads for 2020. First off, I just want to say, this is an abbreviated list. Frankly, there are so many books coming out in 2020 that I'm super hyped about that this video will be like hours long. So I'm just gonna like make it the first ones I thought of in January. The ones I'm like, yeah, 2020 is my year! The ones I'm really excited about. And let's start this off with some books that I actually already physically own the arc of. First things first, I have The Electric Heir by Victoria Lee. I am so excited for this one. I read her debut, which was The Fever King, and that came out in 2019? Early 2019, I think. And I absolutely loved it. I think it's really, really good. It's kind of a X-Men, dystopian, and I don't know, and queer. It's a queer fantasy story. Yes, into it. Well, it's more sci-fi, I think, because it's like with superpowers that are science-based. It's kind of up for debate. Those go both ways, but I'm saying sci-fi fantasy combo, and it's really, really, really good. Loved it to bits, so I'm so excited that I got the sequel from the publicist, so yay! I'm so pumped. The book ended, The Fever King ended with a big cliffhanger, and ooh, I want to know what's going to happen because, like, you know, the OTP of the series is now separated. How are these crazy kids going to work it out? How are they going to get back together? I want to know. There's crazy stuff happening. It's a dystopia. So, I do recommend the series. I thought it was very well written and very fun. And this comes out on March 17th, which I think is actually St. Patrick's Day? Is that St. Patrick's Day? I think it's St. Patrick's Day, but it comes out on March 17th. Also coming out in March, I have Docile by K.M. Sarza, and I am very intrigued by this. I have been told by several of my friends to read it because I did get the art from them, and they said it was really quite good, and I thought I would like it. And it's kind of like dystopian 50 Shades, is how they described it, which doesn't sound great, but it sounds intriguing. This is like hellscape of capitalism where there's people called dociles, and basically you can sell yourself as like an indentured kind of servant type of thing. And in this contract, basically the person you sell yourself to can make you do literally anything. So it also asks questions about consent, like can there be consent if you don't have the right to say no? Like, you know, it's an odd concept here. And I don't know, I think it's just going to be like one of those books that's going to make you think real hard, but it's also probably going to be a little smutty. So, I don't know. I'm like allured by it. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It might be one of those books that makes you feel gross, but like it's supposed to, because you're not supposed to like what's going on in it. I don't know. It's another dystopian book. I kind of feel like those are making a comeback nowadays, and this one comes out in March, and I'm like cautiously optimistic about it. I'm kind of like pumped. Also, coming out like right now was Scavenge the Stars by Tahereh. I got this at Y'all West, and it just came out, I believe, and I have been wanting to read it since I got it at Y'all West last year, so it's just been on my shelf for this long because I just haven't read it yet. I don't know why. I'm a monster, but it is a gender-swapped, and I also think queer retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo. And I'm like, you had me a retelling of Count of Monte Cristo. Everything else is a bonus. So I don't really need to know more than that. I know it's a Count of Monte Cristo, so it's like a revenge story. It's gender swapped, and I am all about it. I am so excited. Freaking out about it. Also, the author's coming to town soon, so I'm hoping to meet this author, and I'm just gonna be even more hyped to read this, so I'm super pumped. Another book that just came out recently is The Conference of the Birds by Ransom. This is the 5th book in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series, and I have been reading this series for so freaking long, and I have loved it for a long time. So Penguin Teen actually got in contact with me, and they were like, hey, do you want a copy of the new book? I'm like, heck yeah, I do. So they sent me a copy for free. They're so sweet, and oh my gosh, I am so pumped to read this one. I'm freaking out about it. Also, I do actually have an extra copy of this book. So, in the near future, Ransom is going to be coming to Los Angeles. I'm going to get this signed, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a signed copy of this and perhaps some other goodies. So just keep a lookout on my Instagram. That's linked down below. There will be a giveaway on this in the coming next couple weeks. So it's going to be very soon. A giveaway is coming and you can get a signed copy of this one. I am so excited to share this with everybody. Okay, so those are all the books I already own that I'm hyped about for 2020. The rest of these books are the ones I am waiting on with just bated breath. I need them now, and I wish I had a time machine so I could pop into the future, get the book, bring it back to the present. That's all I want to do. But what a waste of a time machine. I just want to go in the future and get a book and bring it back. I'm just impatient, whatever. Let's start off with Sci-Fi Fantasy. These are my Sci-Fi Fantasy picks for 2020 that I thought of off the top of my head. I didn't have to do any research. I just know they're coming out, and vaguely when they're coming out in 2020. These are the ones that are definitely the highest on my radar. Coming out on March 3rd is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is her first officially adult series, even though her other books are also adult series that are masquerading as YA. This is an official adult book, and it is the first of the Crescent City series. I don't know much about it. I know it has, like, I think it seems like a paranormal romance. There's gonna be like a fallen angel in it and like intrigue probably, and I am pumped about it. I'm like, yes, stop pretending like they're YA, just go full adult. And it makes me wonder how much more adult they're going to be. So I'm super pumped about that one. Some people have gotten arcs and I don't know how they did it. But I'm just like, oh, they exist, and I'm very excited that their arcs are out in the world. But I really want to read this one. I'm kind of like hit or miss a little bit with Sarah J. Maas. Loved Throne of Glass, didn't really like ACOTAR, but I'm hoping for the best with this new one. It might be really good. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I'm so pumped about it. I pre-ordered it. I can't wait till March. March is going to be a big month for books, by the way. There's so many books coming out in March. It's insane. Also coming out March 3rd is Chain of Gold by Casandra Clare. This is a new series, but it's also kind of a continuation series by Casandra Clare. It is part of the Shadowhunters universe, and this chronologically in date order, I think, would be the series that happens right after Infernal Devices. So we're going back in time again to those set of characters and the kids they made. So now the kids are like, we're Shadowhunters too, and they're doing stuff. And I am all about it, because I really like the Infernal Devices. Book 1 was not that good. I will admit that book 1 is repetitive, because it feels a lot like the first book of the Mortal Instruments series. Come at me, whatever. But the second 2 books of Infernal Devices are brilliant. I love that series. I love the characters. I am so excited to go back to that world. Also, it takes place in the Edwardian era, so that's like turn of the century, so like early 1900s. And I am excited for like all of the like voluminous sleeves. There was like a lot of puffy sleeves in Edwardian era. I don't know why I'm feeling like the puffy sleeve vibe, but I'm so pumped for that one. I really want to get back into that world and see these characters again. And you know what? Infernal Devices was good, so I'm hoping for the best that this is going to continue being very good. Another book coming out on March 3rd is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. I am so pumped for this one. I have been a very long time Marie Lu fan. I've read literally everything Marie Lu has ever written. But yeah, this one seems really cool. It seems like a little different for her, because this is historical. It kind of has like a deal with the devil, and it's also about Mozart's sister. And I was like, yes. Marie Lu can write about Mozart and deals with the devil any day, and I'm gonna read that. It just has such a cool premise that I don't really need to know much more than that. If you just told me, deal with the devil, Mozart, I'd be in already. And then you mentioned Marie Lu, and then I'm like, yes, all of it, give me. So March 3rd is gonna be a big day for books. Everything's coming out that day. Coming out on March 31st is Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi. This, I think, is going to actually be the conclusion of her Shatter Me series. This is the second story arc, the second trilogy of it. And they got some splaining to do. There is so much going on in this world, and it's like, it's just mindfuck after mindfuck. So hopefully this will unfuck our minds. Maybe not, who knows, but I am very excited to see how things are going to shake out again, because things shook out in the original trilogy and they're like, we're not done with that. Came back with another trilogy that started off rocky, then got very good. So, oh man, I don't don't know how to feel, because like I'm very excited, because there's no question in my mind, am I going to read this immediately? Yes, I'm going to read it immediately. I'm not a monster. I am, but not in this case. I need it in my life. I've been reading this series for so long that I'm always going to read books in it. Nothing in this series has been so bad that I have been put off of the series. So yeah, it's always going to have a place in my little heart. I'm going to want to read it. So yes, March 31st. Coming out on June 9th, I have Rage and Ruin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a continuation of her Angsty Teen Gargoyle series. I forget what it's called right now. It's a continuation series. There was an original trilogy. This is the next, perhaps duology. I'm not sure if this is a duology or a trilogy, but it's the next book of the spin-off series. And I really like the first book of the spin-off. It's definitely more of a new adult novel. I don't really think this is YA. And it's Angsty Teen Gargoyles. And demons and fallen angels and regular angels, and it's just all craziness. It takes place in Washington, D.C., and they're like hunting bad guys. I mean, it's got everything you want in an angsty teen paranormal romance. And Jennifer L. Armentrout is like my queen for angsty teen paranormal romance. She writes such good ones, and I love this. It's Angsty Teen Gargoyles. Have you read another book about gargoyles? Like, I don't think so. So it's great. I can't wait for June. I already have it pre-ordered. I need it. I just need the teen angst sometimes. Okay, let's move on to romance. There's also a whole boatload of romances coming out in 2020, but these are the top few that I thought of right off the top of my head. I knew exactly what date they were coming out, didn't have to do any research. So these are the ones that are top of my list of 2020. Coming out on August 25th, I have Emerald Blaze by Ilona Andrews. Yes, thank you, need it. This is a continuation of the Hidden Legacy series. This is, again, a new story arc. The original was a trilogy. This is the second trilogy they're writing right now, following a different Baylor sister. And I absolutely loved its prequel, Sapphire Flames. I think people who are really, really big fans of the original trilogy didn't really know how to feel necessarily about Sapphire Flames because it has a very different vibe. However, that vibe worked for me. I really got into that book a lot. It is different though, but I really liked it. So I do want to see a continuation of that storyline. It is a bummer I have to wait until almost the end of August to get it, but it's one of those books I've literally already pre-ordered. I cannot wait to get it. I pre-ordered it this far in advance. I've already pre-ordered it by the time this video is up. So I'm it's 9 months in advance. I need it. I need it now. If I had a time machine, I would have gone to the future, got it, brought it back. But I'm obsessed with that series. It is urban fantasy. There are basically magical dynasties, and there's magic warfare. There's wizard wars in the streets and stuff, and there's human people and wizards, and I don't know. I'm using the wizard term loosely. They're just people with magical abilities. And it's really good. I mean, I've talked about it enough. I talk about Ilona Andrews all the damn time. So obviously I'm super pumped about this one. Coming out on May 7th is The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. And oh, I am so excited. Helen Hoang is one of my auto-buy authors. I love her books. She wrote The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test, and now we're moving on to a different cousin brother friend group thing. I don't know. These are 3 dudes and they're like cousins. But we're moving on to the third one. And he's always been the interesting one of the group. I always had an eye on Quan because he's always been in the background, but he's the cool guy. He rides a motorcycle. He owns a fashion company. And I'm I am into this guy. I want to know more about Quan. And so finally Quan's getting a book of his own. And I don't really even need to know anything else about the plot. It's Helen Hoang. She's an auto-buy author. I will buy anything she writes and I'll probably love it. So I am super pumped about that one. I'm so excited. I believe this book just came out, which is Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. This is a continuation to her Fix Her Up book, and I have been dying for this one. I pre-ordered this months and months and months ago. At the time I'm filming the video, sadly the book has not come in the mail yet, but it's gonna be here any day now. oh man, I loved Fix Her Up. It was one of my favorite books of 2019. It is zany rom-com antics with excellent smut. I am so transfixed with Tessa Bailey's writing on that one. So moving on to the new book, it's also kind of a little different because this is a couple that's already married and their marriage is falling apart. So how do you save a marriage? So it's kind of different because a lot of times we are reading books about people falling in love for the first time. These are people trying to fall back in love with each other. So it's a little different of a perspective, and I was like into that. And I really like both of those characters from book one. They're continuing with characters that you already had met before, and we're going into those relationships. So yeah, lover or loser. I pre-ordered this so long ago, and the mail just hasn't brought it to me yet. It hurts my soul, but it's coming. It's coming any day now. Coming out on June 30th is Daring and the Duke by Sarah MacLean. This is a continuation of the Bare Knuckle Bastard series. It's historical romance, and I genuinely really enjoy this series. Surprisingly enough, it's not necessarily a comedy series, but they are particularly well written. I like the characters. They're usually kind of sassy, and it gives me everything I want in a historical romance that's not a rom-com, essentially. And that's kind of rare because like, if you give me a rom-com, I'm probably gonna like it. So historicals are kind of hit and miss because they're not always rom-coms. But this series does it particularly well. It's just really good. And also, the first historical romance I ever read was Wicked and the Wallflower, which is the first book of the Bare Knuckle Bastard series. So I kind of have a bit of a loyalty thing going on here. But I have been waiting for this particular story, Daring and the Duke, oh man, since book one, because these characters, we've met them before, and there's so much drama in their past, it's gonna be juicy. Oh. There's like murder and all kinds of stuff, so I'm like really excited about this one. I want to see these two work it out. I want to know what happened in the past, because they keep hinting at this like shadowy past, and I'm like, I want to know. I want to know what happened. So I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait. The last book on this list of super hyped books for 2020 has to be The Bride Bet by Tessa Dare. And this comes out on August 25th. It sucks I have to wait till almost September for it, but oh man, it's Tessa Dare. Like, Tessa Dare isn't going to be on my radar. Hello, have you met me? I love this series. This is the Girl Meets Duke series. I think it's going to be the conclusion of the Girl Meets Duke series because it was about this group of 4 friends and all meeting their men's. So it's the last one. The last one. I'm a little sad that this series is ending. Maybe they'll make more, I don't know, but there'll be more Tessa Dare books. It's gonna be okay. But this is like the series that I love the best from Tessa Dare. It's my favorite series of hers, so I am so excited. It's gonna be the finale, so it's like bittersweet, but I'm like, it's gonna be great. The cover has not been revealed yet, but on Twitter, Tessa Dare did post like outtake photos from the cover shoot. And there's dogs, and I don't think the dog is gonna be on the cover, but someone was holding a dog, and I was like, oh, are there dogs in this book? Are there dogs? I get very excited for dogs. So it's going to be about a bookish woman named Nicola and her fiance who basically they get affianced to each other because neither of them actually want to be married to anybody, but they're like, well, if we just get fianced to each other, then people will leave us alone, and it's great. So I'm thinking things are gonna change and they're gonna end up being like actually married. Spoiler alert, that's usually how these things end. But I love this series intensely, so yeah, the last book of it. The last book is coming out in August. Oh man, I want it so bad. If I had a time machine, let me tell you. Alright, so those are just a few books off the top of my head I knew about for 2020. These are books that I didn't have to look up, and I could have made this a much longer list if I actually sat down and looked up books that were coming out in 2020, but I didn't want to do that. I thought it would be more genuine if I just put the books on this list that I absolutely knew what day they were coming out. Have I already pre-ordered them? These are the books that like are topping the charts in my brain. So that's why they're on this list. Of course, there are going to be tons more books I'm hyped about for 2020, but this is like the top of the top. Let me know in a comment down below. Are you hyped about any of the same books I am? If so, let me know which ones they were. Or if I didn't mention the book you're most hyped about for 2020, let me know what it is in the comments down below. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram because I do giveaways on occasion. And yes, I am going to be doing a giveaway for a signed copy of Conference of the Birds with perhaps other good stuff. So follow me on Instagram, that's coming shortly. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!